too many details, but I'd appreciate honest opinions. I, male 21, have a twin sister. When we were 12, we immigrated to Canada. When we started university, our parents paid for all our expenses so that we could focus on studying and not worry about working to pay the bills. They had one condition: no having children before graduating, finding a job, and becoming financially independent. I've been with my girlfriend, who was the same age as me, for a year. My sister met Ed, male 42, last year. From the start, my parents were against her dating an older man. They had many talks with her, but she insisted she loved him. Later, she told my parents that she was pregnant. They begged her to terminate the pregnancy, which upset her. She told them that she did not need their help, said she was quitting school anyway, and went no contact. She messaged me yesterday saying that Ed broke up with her and kicked her out. She's staying at her friend's until Friday. They had been having problems, and he's been seeing other women on the side. She asked if she could live with me until she figures things out. She is due in March. Here's the problem. If my parents find out that I'm letting her stay in my studio apartment, that's if I can, they will probably cut me off financially too. I don't want to get involved in this drama. I'm doing really well in school because I can focus completely on studying without worrying about work. My girlfriend, who I don't live with currently, thinks I'm being an asshole. She says my sister is leaving an abusive situation and that I need to help her. Here are my options: be a good brother and a decent person and help out my sister and lose everything, quit my school, get a full-time job to support her and the baby, or I tell my sister that you made your bed, so enjoy laying on it and have the future that I always dreamed of. What is the reasonable solution to this situation? How do I fix this without burning my future to the ground? Am I overreacting? Are things gonna be okay? Added, my sister is keeping the baby, she is due soon. Perhaps I wasn't clear enough before. When she first found out she was pregnant, she reached out to my parents and they begged her to get an abortion. She said no and told them that she didn't need them, saying that she and Ed were fine without their support. After her breakup, she reached out again, but this time my parents refused to even speak to her. As a last resort, she called me instead. Ed lives alone, but is unreliable and financially unstable. He's still legally married, but he's been separated from his wife for years, and he has children with her. In the comments, Dry Lavishness says, "Not overreacting. Just tell her that you can't have another person living in your studio due to the lease, and your landlord said no. Having a baby in your home will be constant crying throughout the whole day and night. It will be hard to study or work. Your sister is in a bad situation, but she will need to figure it out since it's not your responsibility. You can find Canadian resources to help her with housing and childcare, but tell her that it simply isn't possible for her and the baby to live with you. Don't let her guilt you into throwing your life away. You can feel sorry for someone and help them, but sometimes that means helping them in the way that you can, even if it's not the way that they want help. This is the way. Even if they say just don't tell the landlord, no goddamn way are you going to be able to hide a crying infant unless the neighbors are deaf. Also, since lying to landlords breaks the lease terms, that's also not a situation you want to be in. Don't do it." OP says, "I feel bad for her. She has no one or nowhere to go, but I worked hard to get good grades, and I don't want to quit my studies to provide for us." She will never leave. You're going to be literally acting as the father of your sister's kid. You shouldn't suffer because your sister makes poor choices. OP says, "I know." When I asked her what the plan was, she had none. When is she planning to go back to work after birth? She has no clue. Is she going after Ed for support? Absolutely not. What, then it's a permanent thing? She said no, but she has no one and wants my help. No plan for work, no plan for childcare, no plan for child support. That's not temporary help. That's basically asking you to be the backup parent. It's wild that she won't even consider child support from Ed. That should be step one, not moving into your studio apartment. OP says, "Yeah, pretty much. She now works part-time at Shoppers and apparently is not getting along with her manager. I really wish my parents would help her. Well, she should help herself. This isn't your parents' fault. She's an adult. It's a hard one for me because I want to bring my unfiltered thoughts to the surface on this one, but I have learned my lesson from that story that I covered a little while ago with the sibling, I think it was, in like a Chinese household who became an addict and sunk to rock bottom and the family completely cut them off. And then they brought their life back up. And when they had grandkids, the family tried to reach out to them. And they're like, no, fuck you. You guys didn't support me at all, so you don't get to be a part of my life anymore. In that story, my opinion was, we have to let the addict hit rock bottom in order to build themselves up because helping them will enable them. And I learned from that no, we can still provide support that is conditional and that sets proper boundaries that will help the addict, that will not burn bridges with them, and will still allow them to rise up from rock bottom without being a piece of shit. In this situation, I think it's fair that she should help herself. I don't think OP should let her into his apartment at all, and any help he provides is at an arm's length so as not to burn his life to the ground, set himself on fire to keep her warm. There are so many people in her shoes that have no family. They don't even have the option of an OP to reach out to for help, and they can still make it work. She has willingly chosen an incredibly difficult path in her life. I think it is time for her to figure it out herself. It sounds like an incredibly heartless thing to say, but I'm not fucking setting my life on fire for the stupid mistakes of my sister. OP, I think you can still help without sacrificing your life. You can help her by finding housing resources, social services, shelters, government aid, legal options for child support. Those are all things that you can do to support her. You quitting school and losing your funding helps no one in the long term. It's just crabs in a bucket bringing both of you down. And I know that your girlfriend means well, but she's not the one paying your rent or giving up her future in this situation. It's easy for her to say that when she has no stake in the situation. You can be compassionate for your sister, OP, without tanking your life. You're not overreacting. And now, onto the update. So this is probably my last update. I managed to get a hold of my parents. It turns out they didn't reject my sister. They are willing to help her, but only under their conditions. She needs to go back to school when the baby is 1. My parents will pay for her expenses and the baby's expenses. She is not allowed to party, date, or do anything like that. My parents basically said that if she has time to party or go on dates, then she has time to take care of her baby. They will help with childcare if she wants to study, rest, or go to school. She can move in with them until she graduates and gets a job that can support herself and the baby. In other words, my sister didn't tell me the whole story. I called her afterward. She said she didn't mention that because this is extremely controlling, misogynistic, and toxic. She said they cannot control a grown woman or decide her love life. I told her that this is pretty much her only option. She said she's disgusted that I abandoned her and put my own happiness first. I asked her what her plan was. She hung up. I know I probably deserve to be called an asshole, but I really cannot afford to quit school right now to help her. In the comments, quote, she said they cannot control a grown woman. Well then she should support herself like a grown woman. She can't even control herself, it sounds like. She's being an absolute idiot and not realizing what she is being offered by her parents. She gave up her opportunity to be young, party, and live the college life when she went and got knocked up by some old deadbeat dad. I hope OP's girlfriend changed her tune and apologized for calling him an asshole, especially after the new info. Quote, she said she didn't mention that because this is extremely controlling, misogynistic, and toxic. No. She didn't mention that because she didn't want you to know that she has another option. She wanted to manipulate you into thinking that she was desperate and alone with nowhere to go. She wanted you to feel bad enough to set yourself on fire to keep her warm so that she can still go out and do what she wants whilst you foot the bill and throw away your education. Your sister would rather stay with you in a studio apartment with no privacy, no job, and no money than to stay with your parents who are willing to pay for literally everything she needs because she doesn't like that they're insisting she focus on taking care of her baby and eventually her education. They're not even asking that she get a job. Stay in school. She needs to figure her own shit out. There are so many single mums with no support trying to figure out how they're going to make a living and pay for daycare. They would kill to be in her shoes, and she's throwing it all away because she wants to party and date. If she thinks that they're not treating her like a grown woman, she needs to just go ahead and support her own self like a grown woman. Okay, what a piece of shit. That's incredibly manipulative of her. She really only cares for herself and she's projecting that onto OP, and will say and do anything to get the slightly better outcome that she wants in her head. I don't think she's going to last long in that household. That is a sad existence that she's in, especially if she's not able to break free from this cycle that she is caught in and get some perspective. So yeah, your parents didn't abandon your sister. They actually offered her a huge safety net with free housing, paid expenses, childcare, support to finish school. It's not toxic at all. What the fuck is she talking about? The only control is asking her to prioritize her baby and future over partying and dating. Your sister just doesn't want to be a parent. Calling you selfish for staying in school is ridiculous. You should not be on the hook for all those responsibilities and funding her. You didn't make her drop out of school. You are not the backup parent. Don't feel bad. Don't feel like an asshole for standing up for yourself, OP. This is just probably your first run-in with an incredibly emotionally manipulative person like this. And if you can recognize that you are not the problem and that you should not be falling for that manipulation, it will do you well in the future. Thank you for the story and thank you for the update. Our next post is by user Severe Drive, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole here for allowing my stepdaughter to wear stinky pajamas to school? I, 31 female, married my husband, 37 male, in December, and then moved in with him and his daughter, 15 female. The mum, 41 female, is in the picture, but my stepdaughter lives with us full time. On the first day of school after Christmas break for my stepdaughter, I was to drive her to school. When she was ready, she was in pajamas that smelled like gym clothes. She had pimple patches all over her face, her hair was messy and greasy. But I didn't say anything. She's 15 and in 10th grade. I figured that she's old enough to dress herself. Plus, if her mum and dad don't have a problem with it, why should I? My mum, 53 female, came to visit. My mum looked like her eyes would fall out of her head when she saw how my stepdaughter looked when she came home from school. My mum asked how on earth I'm allowing my stepdaughter to go to school like that. I told my mum that nobody asked for my input and it wasn't my decision. She called me, my husband, and my stepdaughter's mum bad parents for allowing her to look like that at school. I asked my mum to leave the house. Am I the asshole? In the comments, did you bring this up to her dad, your husband? Because I can understand that as the stepmother, you don't want to overstep your boundaries and tell her what to do, but there's nothing stopping you from telling your husband that it would be better if his daughter didn't go to school smelling like gym clothes. Yeah, 15-year-olds absolutely still need some gentle guidance from trusted adults, especially around hygiene. This is a normal thing for a parent to do, and a normal thing for a step-parent to have a conversation with her dad about. It is very weird to just ignore it. For real. Every parent at some point has to tell their teen, yo, things aren't how they used to be and never will be again. Your body produces different hormones, and they require you to take care of your hygiene daily. You stink. My 4th grade teacher told the whole class this after recess, around 1984 or so. My 17-year-old says all is good, except the smelling bad part. She says she draws the line at smelling bad. OP says, thank you for getting me a teen's perspective. Hard to respond without knowing more of the family dynamics. You only moved in a month ago, but did you already know the stepdaughter from before? Do you have clarity about when you're supposed to take on a parental role? I'm guessing not. It sounds as if you were trying to not be the wicked stepmother, and I think that was probably the right choice. She might have been doing this to test you. OP says, I already knew her. My role isn't to replace her mum. I need more info. Does this happen every day? Is she depressed? Has this been talked about? What's the background here? OP says, most school days, but she dresses up on the weekends. So this child lives with you full time? You let her go out like that, and you don't see that this might be a sign of some mental health challenges? That sounds like someone that's depressed. Quote, plus if her mum and dad don't have a problem with it, why should I? That's not how logic works. All I'm getting from this sentence is that there are 3 shitty adults in the picture. You're the asshole. Time to act like a parent. OP says, maybe I'm really out of touch, but I was under the impression that a lot of teens look like this nowadays. Back up to the post, there's an edit. This edit is for the wonderful people who are concerned about my stepdaughter. I agree, I'm the asshole. I now understand that this is not normal. I will do my best to get her professional help. Ginger Wolfhound says, I just want to commend you for taking some pretty strong feedback and judgment and being open to hear how you can better support your stepdaughter going forward. It gives me hope that she'll get some focus and help, and you two will develop a good relationship. Parenting is hard, and you're new to it, and don't have the context or baseline of what's normal that parents from birth have developed over time. Keep asking questions and being open to uncomfortable answers that might challenge you. Best case, it was the first day back from holiday break, she woke up very late, didn't have a chance to shower, grabbed the first clothes that she found, or just kept on her PJs and ran to the door. Easily solved. My teen girls regularly wear PJ bottoms and tees with no makeup to school, but will spend 45 minutes on their hair. They look like a rumpled mess, but smell lovely. There is evidence of some self-care, even if the focus isn't where I put it when I was a teen. This is a hard one, because I feel like everyone's saying you're the asshole because OP recognizes that there's a problem and she didn't fix it straight away. I think it's either a no assholes here or not the asshole situation, in that I don't think it's OP's job to police this. It's her parents' job, and OP was right in, not getting on that straight away. If you are unsure of how she normally dresses for school, then I don't think you should address that in the moment. You should let her do that and then go to your husband afterwards and be like, hey, is this normal? What do you want me to do in this situation so that I don't overstep my boundaries and I don't overstep my role? But people are saying because OP let a teenager go to school in dirty, smelly pajamas without at least flagging it to her dad, that she did drop the ball and that she is an asshole for that. And I can see that perspective. Maybe the asshole judgment comes into the fact that she didn't immediately go to the husband and be like, hey, what's going on? But I do have to agree the smell and lack of basic hygiene is bad. And it can point to many things. It could be depression, it could be burnout, or maybe she just needs help because she's unaware of what she should be doing, which I find it hard to believe that, but it is a possibility. But hey, you listened to the feedback, you changed your perspective, OP, and now you're open to getting her the support that she needs. Thank you for doing that. Good job. And now, on to the update. I'm thankful to those who are concerned about my stepdaughter. Last night, I talked to my stepdaughter and my husband individually. I gently asked my stepdaughter about how she looks and smells when she goes to school, especially the sweaty body odor, the pajamas, the pimple patches, and the messy, greasy hair. Given that I wash all the clothes, I know for a fact her clothes look clean and smell good when she gets them. The first thing she did was be surprised that she smells when she goes to school. She literally goes to school in the pajamas that she sleeps in. Not the same pajamas more than one night, but she manages to sweat enough to smell them up in her sleep. She seemed bothered by the fact that she smells, but not as bothered that I would be if someone told me that. The second thing, for everyone else, she said neither her friends nor her boyfriend judges her for looking like that. She said other girls look similar. She said she's comfortable and not interested in pleasing judgmental people. I ask her if she knows that she can come to me, her dad, or her mum if she has any mental health problems. My stepdaughter said she knows, and she's good. She thanked me for worrying about her. My husband said that she was a tomboy until middle school, that she dressed very girly during middle school and the first few months of high school. He said that she had told me a while back that she was surprised about how non-judgmental her fellow high school students were about clothes. I asked him to promise me to get her checked out by a mental health professional. As a precaution, he promised me. This morning, on the phone, I apologized to my mum and we plan to meet physically on Friday. I'm a little relieved about my stepdaughter's answers and attitude to all of this, but still concerned and will keep an eye on her regarding this matter. I'm going to try to be a better stepmom. That's where we're at now. In the comments, not the arsehole here to me. This reads like a thoughtful course correction, where concern turned into listening and respect instead of control, which matters far more at her age. OP says, I still think I'm the arsehole. Something could have, and can still be, seriously wrong. Because I watched too much TikTok, I just assumed that her presentation was normal teen girl stuff. I need to be more active as a step-parent. Someone replies to OP, but also, not everything is worst-case scenario. Teenagers are weird. They go through phases. She could just be perfectly comfortable with who she is and how she's received. Maybe just highlight, totally cool to wear pajamas or comfy clothes to school, but put some fresh ones on, because you can sweat and smell musty. Also grab some dry shampoo for her for the days where she doesn't feel like putting in effort to shower. I don't think that you need to rush her to a mental health professional because of one day. You talked to her, she said she's okay, she said she would come to you. Trust her. If it becomes a pattern, then you can bring it up again. The comments on your original post were harsh, and I think you're being hard on yourself. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to be a good stepmom. You're doing fine. And your update shows that you weren't the asshole. Your stepdaughter kind of validated what you already thought, which was that her appearance wasn't anything out of the ordinary for other girls her age. If you notice that she smells again, since she was surprised and a bit bothered by it, I would mention that she may want to start changing her clothes in the morning. Seeing a mental health professional because of her lack of hygiene is a bit much, because it sounds like she's just a girl who doesn't put much effort into her appearance, but it can't hurt for her to check in with a therapist to discuss how she's doing with the two-household dynamic. OP replies, those comments are harsh, but I understood where they were coming from. Way too harsh. My kid is in high school, and your stepkid's appearance is pretty typical. People on Reddit diagnose everything that they know nothing about. I think this is a good resolution. I get why OP wants to beat themselves up for this one because they're like, I shouldn't get complacent. I should always be on my toes. Just in case something bad does happen, I don't want to miss it. Therefore, I need to judge myself as the asshole because I don't want a potential bad outcome to befall this teenager and have me not be aware of it. I completely see where you're coming from there, OP. I like your approach to this situation by talking to her calmly, listening, and then respecting her perspective. That's good step-parenting. It sounds like she's secure and comfortable in her own skin. It doesn't sound like there's any mental spiraling going on. And yeah, teens do go through weird phases. We know that. And the pajamas and pimple patches, that's the phase. That's where she's at. Her friends are cool with it. She's cool with it. It doesn't seem to be an insecurity thing. It is what it is. And yeah, maybe she didn't react to the hygiene bit like you would have when you're a teenager, but you need to separate your own biases from her reality. Some people really just don't care about their hygiene as much as we think they should. Also, getting her dad in the loop, getting a precautionary mental health check without making it a punishment, without making it a requirement, that's good too. I think it shows that you really do care, that you don't want to overstep, and that you want everything to go through him. That is commendable. Parenting isn't about being perfect. Redditors will judge you. I think it's good that you're adjusting when you get new information. I think you've achieved what you set out to do with your first post. Thank you for that, and thank you for updating us. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.